No.
We are live right now with Josan
Yeah.
Gonzalez.
Hello.
Yay! So yeah, welcome back. We are having an interesting day today because I'm having you, Hosan, and then later today I'll be streaming with Andre Wallen. So that's going to be a pretty stacked day for me. But enough about me. Let's talk about you, dude. How have you been?
Oh, I've been fine. I'm really happy to be here in this famous YouTube show, world famous. And thank you for inviting me. So
No, dude, you're welcome. And I gotta say, you are you're fucking good, dude. You are fucking good.
I
Um,
think I
I
think I'm
remember.
the lowest profile guy to be. Like I haven't worked for any big company or anything, just small stuff.
Who cares,
But
dude? Who
no,
cares?
I think this is great in a way. Like you can be there without landing that super gig. So it's cool.
Yeah, man. What happened
So should
here?
I should I explain something?
No,
Do
yeah,
you want me?
just introduce yourself and
Okay.
just
So yeah,
who you are and what are you all about, dude.
yeah. My name is Hosan. For those who haven't realized already, and I've I've mostly known for what I'm doing with my own IP, which is the future is now. Whoops, something happened here.
All good, all good. I just closed that app. It's not needed for us, so we're all good.
Bye. Okay.
I just made everyone
So
nervous.
it's a series of art books so far that are set in the same universe. So it's cyberpunk universe that I have sort of created with the original characters and stuff. And I made the first art book on my own, like with my own funds. I did some pre-orders to get the print run
Mm-hmm.
funded, all very informal stuff, and I was like blown away by the reception. Like people really like it, and I sold all of them fairly quick. 250 copies of the book,
Nice.
It's great.
which is now feels like a small number, but back then it was like, oh my god, so many books. I sold them like in 4 or 5 months. I was out of stock, so I thought I need to do the next thing with this another album, make it bigger, get more funds. So I did a Kickstarter for that, which kind of exploded. I
Yeah, it
raised
blew up, dude.
a lot of money. That's pretty much the story.
Awesome.
No, I remember seeing because you've been posting quite a lot, and I had you on my Facebook. I've been following your work for quite a time now, and I remember you did that fan art for Batman with the
Oh yeah,
I don't remember what
it's
what those guys are called. But dude, it's like you have this very unique style, and you nail it down pretty well. It's sort of this very stylized,
Hmm.
um, almost like Mobius inspired, style of drawing. And what's really good about it is just how you combine that with cyberpunk and how it looks in the end. When you have it done and when you have it finished. And I really enjoy that. And when I saw you're doing Kickstarter, I was like, I think it's gonna go pretty well. And
yeah, I
surely it
was
surely did. And I'm super happy that it did because it's looking awesome. I'm gonna say.
yeah,
Um, for those who are interested, I'm gonna actually post a link to the Kickstarter campaign that you did on the chat, so you
I
can.
did quite a lot of different stuff until I got to kind of the let's say the perfected style
Mm-hmm.
that I have. I mean, it's never perfect, but I am kind of been working on the sort of same style for a couple of years now. But before, it took me a while, to get there. Like exactly, this is it.
Yeah.
Like I was in more digital painting, studies from photos with just painting, no lines, or a lot of stuff like that. More cartoon, more realistic. A lot of different approaches. But it's okay, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for. And when I mix it, what I had with the sci-fi stuff, that's where I really, push forward. Like, okay, this is where I am, where I want to go. I look back to stuff from 1 year ago. It feels old now. So,
Of course.
I kind of found the place to. I keep working this, and there's always things to improve. And it's very. I never hit the wall. Like since I've been doing this sci-fi with flat colors, clear line, it has been pretty smooth. So
yeah, dude. Well, what's really impressive for me is, apart from the drawings that you're doing, the illustrations that present the characters, you have pretty rad ideas there. The one mind-blowing part that kind of shows, I guess it's kind of explaining how your brain works, in my opinion, is those really detailed isometric drawings that you're doing. Those the clusterfuck of details, I call it, where it's just like, holy fucking shit, dude. You did like this drawing of a city, I remember, quite recently.
That was in October. Like I thought, like I need to improve on ink. Right. I'm gonna do something, and I started the first day this Inktober thing for those people that didn't know what Inktober is. It's some sort of event that I think it's Jake Parker that created it back then. Like you do, once you hit October, the month, you try to do one ink drawing every day.
So you decided to do all days in one day? In one big painting?
Why don't just do a big ass drawing and do a small part every day? See how far you get. Cool. And I didn't get very far in October, but it took me months to finish. But yeah, it is never. It's the first time I do a drawing so big, So
right. No, dude, it looked rad. So
the mindset was to do just a small part every day. So if you say I'm gonna do this super big drawing, you might get like, I can't do it. It's too much. It's gonna take too long. So what? If you do just a small part every day, it's amazing what you get.
That's
over
true.
Time. It's the way to be able to how to say that, succeed with a big challenge.
Yeah.
Just break it down in parts.
Yeah. Every step, one step at a time. Just a slow climb. It's always a good idea when you have a bigger goal and you want to work on something. I want to make it fucking rad and beautiful and large and whatever. Just plan ahead. Like don't think like you're gonna do it in one jump. Think of it as a staircase, and if you want to be at the top of a staircase, you're gonna have to go step by step, obviously. And sometimes you're gonna hop 2 steps because you feel that power. Like, oh yeah, I'm good. I can hop 2 steps. But normally you're just gonna walk in one pace, and if you stop, then you just stop. You're not progressing. But if you're slowly moving up, you will eventually get there. So it's just a matter of how big of a staircase you decided to choose.
When you see the final thing, you're like, oh yeah, I made it.
yeah, dude. And you look down, and it's fucking Mount Everest almost.
To me, it's more difficult, like when I see people like it's people that can do super good sketches really fast, like in 1 hour, like super fresh. I'm not sure I can do that. Maybe I can, but I'm more like a slow cooking. It's like I'm gonna do something very complex. It's gonna take a lot of time, but this is what I enjoy. The viewer is gonna get a kick out of seeing this, seeing all the details, finding out the narrative, the small Easter eggs. So that's my thing, you know. Of course, there's a lot of influence from Geof Darrow. It's probably for all the crazy details in my stuff.
Right.
I think it's his fault from reading his comics.
Yeah, dude.
Because that guy is insane. It's a shitload of details in everywhere.
Yeah, I gotta have to stack my bookshelf with those. I don't have them yet. So, dude, what are you gonna be drawing? I'm curious because I see some blue lines there. I can see some
I have
stuff
a sketch
going
here,
on.
and I have the pencil one here on the scanner. It's probably more visible.
Right.
I'm not sure. This is, one of those isometric things we were speaking about, the perspective. It's sort of a scene that it's, I'm not sure how to put it so people can see the whole thing. But anyway, it's like a scene that happens in an isometric perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Some characters are walking in from this side. This robo president is walking in, and the police has just busted some safe house from some hackers and stuff. And one thing I did here, I think I'd never done before, or not without thinking too much about it, is that I have the isometric perspective, but I have cut sections, so you can see what's inside of the rooms. So it's not exactly realistic. There are walls that are cut, so you can see the characters through.
Yeah.
Especially the part on here. So it's a bit of a new thing for me.
It reminds me those.
Yeah.
It reminds me those early '90s games, you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
PC games. Yeah, dude, it's gonna be rad, dude. I can't wait to see how you draw it. You're gonna be inking, like you can do whatever the fuck you want. By the way, you know. Like if you wanna ink, you can ink. If you just wanna say fuck it, I'm not gonna do shit. You can do that as well. I don't care.
Let's just speak about stuff. You know. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna try to ink in the meanwhile, and if people are interested, like we were saying before, like paper, seeing someone doing stuff on paper, it feels almost exotic now because digital is the way to go for most people. I would say almost, or at least people in the concept art industry, or illustration, depending on the field, can be more traditional still, but the syntax are awesome. I can understand that.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I kind of feel like I can still faster on paper, so I do most of the work on paper, but the colors I do digital.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I don't know if I usually get a lot of people that ask me about the materials, like what pen do you use, which paper, whatever, I guess.
Yeah, what brush do you use, dude? What is the brush you're using?
The magical brush that draws things.
Yeah.
That draws perspective. It's just, you can, the perspective is there. So I don't use anything special. Just super normal mechanical pen, and then I ink with usually microns from Sakura.
Yeah, microns are the best.
It's super popular thing, but they're really good because the ink is really black. And they're great, probably the best calibrated things.
Yeah, I use them too, or used to. I haven't been drawing for a long time.
You've been busy.
Yeah, I'm too busy, unfortunately. It kind of sucks, actually.
Sucks, but you're doing amazing stuff. Those key shots for Civil War, I think it was.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you did that. If it's painting, or
It's a lot of fakery.
flash. It's a secret.
There's a lot of bullshit there. A lot of bullshit that it's just like, oh, you did it that way. Aww. That kind of stuff.
Oh.
No, dude, I'm sort of piggybacking on what you said. You've mentioned like you're this kind of guy that I'm doing my Kickstarter and small clients and whatnot. I'll be honest with you, I don't think these days anybody cares about that. I think it was more important back in the days when people, or artists especially, wanted to have a meaning in their careers, and the bigger the client usually meant that the better you are. Especially in entertainment today, with the advent of YouTube and Twitch and Patreons and whatnot and Kickstarters, it doesn't really matter anymore, because frankly, you can be great, you can be popular, and you don't have to work for clients. You can work for yourself pretty much, and self-fund your own projects and make them happen, instead of just slaving away like my ass to clients.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I know.
so
That's a positive part, like for people that are maybe starting or getting there, like you don't have to be worried. Like I don't get to work with film companies. That's fine. There are other ways of
yeah, dude, nobody cares, honestly. I rather see your art daily, or whatever you're doing, than not seeing you do anything for years and years and then release some stuff. And
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
I
that's
cannot.
that's not gonna be your soul either. That's gonna be you trying to please production designer or director. So it has its bonus, but also it's just like if you don't run into the right project, it might actually suck. So
Yeah, exactly. That's essentially my professional story. Like when I started working, I was 25, pretty late to working. Like I was working as a waiter and as in bars, restaurants when I was student, like from 17 to 25.
mm-hmm.
At 25, I got my first job uh, in a creative field, like not serving drinks. So it was like, oh my God, it's possible.
Yeah.
But it was as a fashion illustrator for big clothing companies. I work in a supplier. And I was doing all the illustrations for the t-shirts, all kind of very commercial, like hearts and birds and dolls and all kind of shit.
Right.
So it was creative in a way that I was drawing, but I had to do what they told me, like draw this, draw that, and it was great. I learned a lot from there. But it took me a while to get where I am now. So I was working in fashion for I think 7 years. I think. Then I went full freelance, and I was
Mm-hmm.
doing comic book coloring, all sort of whatever comes my way, to pay the bills.
Right.
And yeah, it's. But at some point, I started to get a bit of fame, for my style, the unique characteristics. Oops, sorry, that's too hard for a Spanish guy. On my drawings, and I started to get small gigs like book cover, magazine cover,
Mm-hmm.
maybe music album cover. So I thought, okay, let's start to move away from comic book coloring, which I enjoy anyway, but it's so usually seen as a lesser job. I don't think it is, but that's the image that's on the industry about colorists. And again, and then once I found the right project, this future is now thing, there now I'm there. Can I make it? Can I keep just living off this? Keep pulling another book, graphic novel, wherever. So that's kind of the question right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can, dude.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you
I'll do
can.
my best, and the book is going to be amazing. I mean, it's a lot of work, but I think people's gonna be surprised. I hope positively surprised. Not like what the fuck, you know. So.
Yeah, I can't wait, dude. I don't normally support that many projects, Kickstarters and whatnot. I usually wait for something that is really great, that is really worth supporting. And dude, when I saw your stuff coming up, it was just like, yeah, no brainer.
Well, thank you. It sure helped a lot that a lot of people were sharing the project, like very passionately. Like, we need to get this funded, and I had a lot of help from people sharing and spreading the word. So that's how Kickstarter works, anyway.
Yeah.
But you kind of build your reputation, your fan base, and then when you see those fans that come back, to buy your stuff, to help you, that's very rewarding. So that feels really good.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Hey, you can start drawing anytime you want, by the way. We can. I'm pretty sure our audience is gonna be enjoying that shit. So I'll definitely will be enjoying that shit.
I was thinking about microns, but I'm actually going to use this, which is it's out of focus. It's a penbrush from Tombow. It's a Japanese brand.
I'm gonna bug you after the stream. I'm gonna bug you for the names of those things, and we're gonna list those pens and objects and books and whatever we decide to talk about today.
Sure. I'm gonna try and change. I just realized that my hand is gonna cover, so I'm gonna try and put the webcam on the other side.
Sure. We can see your studio. What the hell?
Yeah, that's me.
We can see your face. Damn, Daniel.
That is my studio.
Awesome.
Moved recently too. It's all the secrets of my enterprise. I have to.
Dude, it's rad.
Drawing tables.
Awesome.
So I'm not sure if. Well, I have more space now here than I had at my home. So, but I wonder if people use drawing tables or not.
Honestly, it's a good idea to use them for sure. I'm planning. I don't have a room in my, because I have studio in my bedroom, and I basically turned the bedroom into a studio. So I don't really have that much room where I could place drawing table here. I have a fucking huge desk though. It's like 8 feet wide or something, 4 feet long, or 4 feet long, 8 feet wide. It's pretty fucking large. It's taking like half of the room. But I can get everything on it, so it's all good.
Yeah.
No, drawing tables are great, especially the ones that have the underlight. Those are pretty good. They're a little more expensive, on the more expensive side, but having the underlight helps, especially when you have like, what do you have? For like clean pen or inking. It does help to have that underlight going in. I bought like those. I'm gonna list that too. It's like a light box, if you will.
Yes.
And basically just underlights your sketch, your drawing, and then you can do some inking on top of it. So you can do like different things. You can. When I was doing the art habit, I would, for instance, draw like a dirty sketch. I would do it either in Photoshop or just with pen on the paper, and then scan it and print it out like bigger in blue, like you did here. And then I could ink on top of it, and that was much easier, especially with that light box. That was pretty helpful to have. But yeah,
I didn't get one for here because I've been. I always print on blue now, like just do a sketch on paper and then maybe fix stuff on Photoshop and then print on blue. That's if I want to, ink it. Otherwise, it's going to be pencil.
Mm-hmm.
But Yeah, I don't really need the light box anymore now, but the light box, the light table, whatever. So yeah, this has been a discovery, like printing in blue, in just very soft. This saves me a lot of time.
Yeah, that's how comic books are done, right? At least when
I
they are
think so.
done. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are, especially when they are done in actual ink instead of Photoshop,
Yeah,
or
this
the other software that's out there. What is the other software? It's Manga Studio. It's
Manga
pretty good.
Studio.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's great. This is good. This is really good for inking, actually. I think a lot of pros use it
Yeah.
or similar because obviously Photoshop, as good as it is, it has some limitations for you know the lines and stuff. Like they get a bit wonky.
Mm-hmm.
Manga Studio is much better for that. It corrects your gesture, or I mean the Wacom gesture. When you move your hand and it gets those stairs on the line, sort of the pixels. Manga Studio has some options to smooth that, and,
Yeah.
more different brushes that look like a real brush and stuff. It's just out of the box. If you want to do that on Photoshop, you need shitload of plugins and stuff. So
Yeah, you can certainly do that in Photoshop. However, yeah, Manga Studio is so much easier to use. You can find like really good traditional looking brushes done by other artists.
yeah,
Even out of the box, they actually have naming conventions for actual pens and brushes that exist, like G pen and like
that's great.
that kind of stuff. So it's already there, and it works pretty well out of the box. But some artists put like an extra effort to get um, that texture of a paper into the brush as well, and it looks quite nice. Especially, I found I don't remember how it's called. It was like a leaky ink brush, but it's almost like a very thin brush. And when you draw it with like a small radius, it looks
Yeah,
like one of those manga manga pans that are like really thin, and they allow you to do like the little cross hatching, and it looks just perfect. It looks exactly like you would do it on paper. So that's pretty cool. And they have like all the all kinds of what is it called, um, halftone patterns that you can use
oh,
and apply settings, and there's a lot of shit there. You can take like a photo. If you manipulate a photo in Photoshop in a good way, and you put it into
yeah,
a Manga Studio, you can make it look like fucking like it's drawn basically. Seriously, it's insane how good it is. But you just have to be skillful about it, obviously, and do a lot of editing. And it's not like it's gonna work out of the box right away, but damn, it's pretty good. But it's never gonna replace pen and paper, dude. So I don't think that.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it's gonna be hard to tell what is drawn on paper and what is drawn digitally. I mean, it is hard now with some
Yeah,
people, like,
sometimes, yeah, for sure.
and it doesn't really make any difference in the end because it's just looking for whatever you want to accomplish. It doesn't require a specific technique. There are many routes to
Mm-hmm.
get there. But yeah, it's gonna be for me. I don't know if it's some sort of sentimental thing. Like I want to stick to paper. I'm sorry for the twist. I'm sorry, but I don't know.
No, don't be sorry, dude. I'll tell you this one thing. I don't know
Fuck
if
the
you have an
streets.
account on Instagram, but on
Yeah, yeah.
Instagram, especially when you draw traditionally, you're gonna have a shitload of followers, dude. You're gonna have a lot of
Uh,
people following your art,
yeah,
your work.
people love that. Of course, it's like a tutorial of sorts
Yeah.
in a way, like how this is done. I mean, it really isn't because you really don't learn that much from seeing someone drawing. But yeah, people love that, and I understand, I guess.
There's one interesting thing. I'm gonna talk a little business here. when it comes to
Okay.
drawing and you know, using your skills in a different way. Again, you don't have to. There's an. I don't know if there's an impression, but let's put it this way: you can whatever you want if you're really good at it and you're really putting a lot of effort towards it and soul and and most importantly, if you're doing it consistently. Um, the truth is, you can make a living with pretty much anything you do these days.
Yeah.
You know, like you're a great example because it like you apart from doing you know your small like your projects for clients where you know you get some work down there, you're also doing Kickstarter, and that's obviously covering some of your living cost and some of the production cost of actually creating the book. So it's
Yeah.
not like you're coming back home. I don't know. Maybe you are. Maybe I'm just taking the knowledge out of my ass again. Um, I guess I'm gonna ask you this then. You know, when you when you're working on your book, is it something that you're doing full time by just the means that you got from the Kickstarter? I know it's a personal question, but I'm just curious. You know?
No, no, no. That's fine. I mean, because that's the thing. Like this Kickstarter was kind of so big that it really changed my life in terms of my professional life.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it that way. I mean, I'm the same person I was, uh, but I'm doing the book mostly now.
That's awesome.
90% of the time of my work time, a shitload of hours a day to get it done.
Of
But
course.
of course,
But
it
it's your
is your
passion, though.
exactly not only your passion, but at this point, I'm producing the books myself. I'm gonna be shipping them myself, of course, with some help of people because it's a
Yeah.
shitload
Of
of
course.
books to ship. But I mean, different people will have different approaches to this kind of projects. You know, I like to do it all like control it, not as a control freak, but
Mm-hmm.
to keep it sort of local and kind of how to say that sort of indie. You know, like I'm gonna produce the books here in a local pre-house. I'm gonna handle everything myself. But I really enjoy that because it becomes your enterprise, you know,
Yeah.
your business, your sort of your company in a way. Like this is my, you know, I'm creating my company in a way. Like if I can ship more books or more projects and have, you know, like a few years from now, I have 4 or 5 books, you know, like a catalog, wherever, and this is my publisher. This is what I want to accomplish, you know. And it's my company. It's not someone else, some high CEO asshole who owns whatever, Warner Bros. Or whatever fucking company, and hires you to do some stuff, and then bye bye. You know, this is
Yeah.
my company, or it could be, you know. So it's pretty exciting, and it puts you in a different perspective when working. Like if I don't do the work, then it's me who's gonna sink my
Yeah.
own thing. It's not someone else coming. So you know, it gets you in a different you know mindset. So I think it's very interesting
Yeah, dude.
because yeah, before the Kickstarter, I was doing all the content of the first book. I did it on my spare time, you know. So of course it was very different. But I had the, you know, like the illusion that I'm doing this because I think it's gonna work. I think people is gonna like it, and it might take me to some places. So, but I was doing like all the weekends, you know, at night after work. It was all sort of a side project. You know, you're not getting any money for that until the book is, you know, out.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the thing is that I always thought that publishing a book was something too expensive, that you needed like investors or you had to loan money or whatever to do it. But nowadays, with digital printing, it's super cheap to get a book out. You know, anyone can do it. It's whatever, 100 euros, 200 euros, you can do 40, 50 books or even more. So things have changed really fast. Like anyone can publish now on their own. doesn't require that you are rich or have, you know, like a bank giving you money to do it. So it's a very different work. It's really easy.
It's much easier for sure.
That's what I think people should be like, you know, more engaged into that. Let's try to do more independent stuff, you know. I don't know, but it's risky also. So it's when you start self-publishing something, it's probably not gonna cover your expenses. Right? It's not gonna pay your bill.
Right.
But that's the start, you know. So. I
No,
don't know
that's
if
true,
I
for sure.
actually answer your question. I did rate it.
No, it's all good, dude. We're just having a conversation, so.
You guys want to jump into questions?
We can. I'm actually gonna before we do that, just to sort of like give it an extra thought. Yeah, dude, it's different, right? Like right now, you're pretty much, you're not even self-employed. I wouldn't call that. You're just basically, it's not even work at this point. You're just having fun, and it just it just so happens that you're getting paid for it. And rightfully so, because it's awesome, you know, like you're putting a lot of effort, a lot of your own heart, and because it's your own project, because this is the stuff that you love to do, and you would do it anyways, regardless whether you're doing the Kickstarter or not. It's not really work anymore. It's more of like, it's my daily routine, and it's just paying my bills now. So I can do this forever that way, and that's great. You know, that's what I was talking about. You don't have to really be in the entertainment industry to make money, to be, you know, to be happy about your work and everything. You just have to be good at what you do and inspiring enough for people to appreciate it. And clearly that's what your work is doing. You know, you have your own unique style. You're putting a lot of effort, and it just looks great, and people appreciate that. And Kickstarter is a great example and sort of like a validation of that too. So, you know, all power to you, dude. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And again,
it's still work, you know, like the schedule.
Oh yeah, of course.
Is really a lot of stress, you know, to get the book on time. But it's not going to be on time because I already delayed it after the campaign ended, because of course I was asking for 80,000 euros and I raised 120,000, I think. So it's a different project now because it's much bigger.
Yeah,
so
it's much more.
I said, sure. I need more time, but I mean, I have a schedule I have to meet, but I've set that schedule myself.
Yeah, not exactly.
Else, so, yeah.
It's not some asshole telling you like, oh, it has to be done for yesterday, dude. No, you're just like,
the word asshole.
But that's good, dude. It's just like you know, that's obviously, you know, nobody said it's supposed to be easy. But then on the other hand, like, even though it's not easy and it's a lot of work and everything, it's still your stuff. You're sort of working for your own, you know, company. You're working for yourself. You're creating the stuff that you love to create. It's not like, oh, let's make a grass concept and branches for next 4 weeks because we have to make that happen. Or can you draw a fucking chair for next 3 weeks because, you know, that's the prop that is really important in that film, you know, that kind of stuff. No, you're just like, I'm gonna draw a fucking isometric assault scene and make it really fucking rad, and that's a part of my schedule. So yeah, exactly.
I always wonder if I had the chance to work, you know, at big companies, will I be doing my own or not? That's a question that probably it's never going to be answered because it will require a time machine. But
right,
sometimes I wonder, like, will it be better, you know, try to pursue working for something big, or I never had the opportunity. Like, never, whatever, wasn't in the right place, or my portfolio wasn't the one, or whatever, you know. So,
right.
But I'm here with my own stuff, so this is a happy ending. Well, dude, it's not an ending.
I'll tell you from my own experience. Usually, the projects that seem to be awesome, and you see the Captain Americas of the world and all the big projects. I'm not saying specifically Captain America, but usually the dream projects that you always want to work on, and you get that opportunity, you get that call from the studio, and they're telling, yeah, you can work on that with us. It's usually not that fun, dude. It's in most cases just like, oh fuck, I don't really want to do that.
That Marvel sites, is that right?
No, I'm not saying that, obviously, because I work with them right now, so I can't. I shouldn't.
You are not safe.
But I'll tell you from my experience and experience of people that I know, the project that seem to be like your dream films to work on, I don't know, like an Inception film or Interstellar, or like the big productions that seem to be fucking great, in a lot of cases they aren't. It's a fucking grind, and you do a lot of bullshit work that you don't want to do, and it just so happens that once in a while you're gonna get that one drawing and you're gonna nail it, and that's gonna be a pinnacle of your work for that project, and that's it. But everything else is like years and years, well, maybe not years, but like months and months of grind, and like listening to assholes and fucking stupid decisions and script changes and stuff like that. It's a normal part of how things are created, especially when you don't have a power to influence it in a way, like one thing I've learned is that I stopped caring if the film's going to be great or not. Like, I don't really give a shit anymore because I don't have any, say. I don't have a power to influence it. I cannot go to writers and say, dude, you suck. Like, literally, the script you wrote is so stupid. It made me dumber. I lost 10 points of IQ by just reading the first 5 pages. Like, you don't have a say into that, right? That's not something you can do and have any influence on. So the only thing that I can do when I'm working on film is making sure that whenever the film is out and I can show the work that I did, it's at least I'm proud of the work that I've done. At least I've tried something new, or maybe made it so as much detailed and rad as I could possibly do, and maybe with like the coolest design I can. But in a lot of cases, the design is driven by someone else. So
I always thought this part of whatever you do, you have to do it good.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you get into that sort of downward spiral where you're just dwelling in shit.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was working as in restaurants, in the kitchen, I always thought I had to make the best here, like even if this work sucks, it's terrible, but I cannot do it bad, especially there when it's even an easier job, but and when I moved to fashion, which is very similar to the video games, from what I hear, because I never worked in video games or films, from what people always say, like you were saying before, fashion is very similar. Like you have a bunch of assholes who want this, well, they think they want this. They ask you to do this. When you do that, they want something else. So, but still, you have to make your best.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, where are you going? Like you try to jump to the next company, and if you've been doing shit job, that's what you have to show them. So.
Yeah, you gotta stay on top for sure.
Yeah, you have to be the best in your craft, even if your craft is, whatever, cooking salads or whatever. So, I mean, not to be disrespectful to
not at all
of the world. I've been there too for a few years, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, of course. No, for sure. Like you, regardless of what that is, even if it's a project that fucking sucks and you have to draw chairs and doorknobs for the next 2 years, just do the best fucking chair and doorknobs that you'll ever see. So
Exactly.
Yeah, because like you really don't know who you're working with. Like the beauty of working for yourself, whether you're, doing a Kickstarter campaign or having your own YouTube channel and selling merchandise and whatever the fuck you do, if you're putting a lot of effort and you're really genuine into it, it's only gonna work for you. It's only gonna benefit your own work and yourself, and it's only there's only gonna be good things coming out of it. Even if it's a shitty project. Who knows? Maybe the guy who offered you that job and you think that's the worst job ever, maybe he's good friends from high school with your dream director, and when you fucking kill it with those doorknobs, you might be working on I don't know, next Avatar or some shit.
Yeah.
You never know. It's a small world.
Yeah. Definitely.
So
Yeah. Well, and I'm doing so for the Kickstarter. One of the stretch goals is the soundtrack, which is which I'm very excited about. But and of course, this is a situation where I am now the boss, in a way. I have 4 musicians, 4 artists that I have contacted. Like, do you want to work in this soundtrack? The concept of the soundtrack is that every one of these musicians is going to do 3 songs, 3 tracks. They are synthwave musicians. There's BHS Glitch, Overend, Burgiois, and Ex Machina. This is 4 guys. Nice. And every one of them is going to do a chapter, 3 songs for that specific chapter. So it's a specific mood, it has a concept, and I'm sending the briefings to each one of them. Like, I want you to do the songs for this chapter, and this chapter is about this. This is what happens. This is some of the illustrations for the chapter. And I see myself in that position where I'm the guy who's the producer now.
Yeah. There you go.
And I'm thinking, I don't want to be an asshole now, So.
But sometimes you have to, because it's your own money on the line, And it's kind of interesting. You get to put yourself in a sort of reverse position or a reverse role and see how it really is from the other side,
Exactly. It's a very smaller scale in the terms of, well, this is not a film, or it's a small thing in brackets. It's a soundtrack. But yeah, I'm doing that role, the role of the producer. And yeah, like you said, I cannot go super soft because maybe they will send me shit. They are not going to, because I really love their music and trust these guys. But
right.
It's interesting to find yourself in that position, because you the very first thing that comes to your mind is, don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, your bosses in the past have been. So I'm giving them a lot of freedom. But there is always that point where I also have to find a way to get the most of them, So it's something to think about, for me at least. It's not a job that I enjoy, actually. I prefer just to work on my stuff, like, I don't think I'm exactly fit to be that sort of guy who's whatever, art director, producer, or, but it's fun anyway. It's been a lot of fun. And I still don't have the tracks because we just started. Well, once I get the final, the final product, this is going to be like, as good as it is, maybe it's also, small percentage is because of me too, my briefing, my whatever, a bit of direction here and there. So that's great, Like you said, to see the roles inverted.
Yeah, for sure. It gives you a different perspective on things and makes you appreciate work even more, or just even learn, knowing how to produce and how much it takes and how much you have to plan and be prepared for unknown. That's
exactly.
good knowledge to have. And
what will happen,
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
but, yeah, there is a big amount of risk. So,
Always.
I mean, for this, it is a soundtrack, and it's gonna be great, but it is not the book. Like if I had someone doing the book for me, and if the book is shit, that's the main problem, and there's not gonna be another book if it's bad. So
Yeah.
so it's a side a part of the project, but still important. But if you have people you trust and I admire the work of these guys, so I know it's gonna be great. But how always, what's gonna happen? I will believe this once I see the final soundtrack. Some sort of that's what goes in my mind sometimes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool. Is
pretty
VHS Glitch gonna be doing the whole soundtrack?
Sorry, what?
Is VHS Glitch gonna be doing the whole soundtrack?
He's doing one of the chapters, and then the other three guys gonna do one chapter each.
Gotcha.
So he will do 3 songs. So it's great. I wish I could have more people actually, like a longer soundtrack, but obviously there's a budget too. So it's gonna be 12 tracks. It's pretty good.
It's dope. I'm excited.
Dope.
Yeah.
You guys
All
ready
right.
for questions now?
Yeah, let's do this.
I know the guests are.
It's like,
All
get
right.
those questions in.
First one
fuckers.
says,
Only the easy ones, please.
all right. How'd you get into this style, and who are your main influences, would you say?
Oh yeah, that's something a lot of people say Mobius. No, not just here in my Facebook or social pages. There's usually the people say a lot. It looks like Mobius, which is fine because I love him, but I'm not sure my stuff really looks like him. But my influences are, when I was a teen, all the comics I really read a lot of comics, was the European comics. So I'm guessing most of them have never been published in the US, because in Spain, we've been lucky enough to have a lot of books translated from France, which is the cradle of France and Belgium, from European comic. And we had Mobius since day one, translated to Spanish. So, of course, it's been one of my biggest influence. But what I read when I was a teen, which is, I think, the part of your life where you maybe absorb the most, or maybe, I don't know, the foundations of what you're gonna be into. I mean, that can change, but I used to read a lot of Manara, Enki Bilal, of course, Otomo. Akira has always been one of my favorite comics or mangas of all time. Blade of the Immortal from Samura, and a shitload of European guys, like Spanish too. Alfonso, Carlos Jimenez, many. The French guys, Loisel, the other guy was, I don't know, a lot. And I think that all stacks into your sort of visual library. And what you get, which is your style, I think is sort of a mix of everything. It's hard to backtrack exactly what's your influence,
Right.
Yeah. Sweet.
But there's definitely my particular style is what they call I don't know French, it's something like the ligne claire. It's called the clear line, which is just, like I said, clear line, flat colors. This is pretty much old school European comic. And that's what I do with my twist, the specific stuff that I do that maybe other people don't do, but that's pretty much it.
Sweet.
That's it's a pretty long reply.
No, that's a good answer. Next question says, how long do you spend on each topic in art? And when do you know when to move on to a new one?
Like each drawing? Or
I'm not sure. He said topic. I'm not sure what he's talking about there.
topic?
Yeah.
Like,
Can you repeat the question?
I guess.
How long do you spend on each topic in art? Maybe like the fundamentals, like perspective, anatomy, and then moving to the next one. That's what I'm guessing, but
Yeah.
If that is the question, you never move on. That's a shitty answer. I'm sorry. No, I mean like anatomy. Can you know enough that you don't need to know more? I don't think so. And the same with perspective. You know, you need to learn a lot to get a solid base. I think you need to never stop learning. Like both anatomy and perspective are probably the basics of drawing. You know, once you understand that, you can draw almost anything, right?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, dude.
Then you have color, which is a different world, and it's another. Oops, sorry, someone's told me. No. Okay, so I think that's. But yeah, I still do anatomy studies. I don't think I really got it. You know?
Yeah.
Oh my god, forget mobile phone.
Don't worry about it, dude.
It's all good.
All good. I agree with you, man. It's you never stop. You know, you might be jumping back and forth, and okay, I've spent enough on this, and I want to move on and try maybe perspective, maybe color, maybe lighting. But it's a cycle. You sort of like recycle and go back and always try to find different angles to look at stuff, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Perspective is something that I have seen myself improving a lot in that field over the last couple of years, because I also put myself in greater challenges than I had been doing before. Like I wanted to do more complex stuff, and I didn't always have the skill to do it. But over time, I sort of overcome that. So, you know, and yeah, it doesn't worry me that much now, but still a lot to learn. I mean, I'm really enjoying when I try to do fisheye or isometric. Isometric is fairly simple as a perspective method because it's very something we have in our, how to say that, in our brain for video games. You know, like you say, in the 90s, 80s. But yeah, you never stop learning. That's the answer. How long does it take to get to a solid level? That will be more difficult to say, you know?
Yeah. This next one says, how do I improve my 3D forms when drawing? How do I make things pop out more? Any suggestions on that?
Your what? Your duty?
3D forms? Making it pop more? Like making it look like it's more three-dimensional?
Or like the volume of stuff, maybe?
Yeah.
That comes back to the previous question, I think. Like, if you want to do something that works in space, you need to understand space. So you can make it pop using different tricks later on, but first you have to lay down the foundation of that. Like, for example, you want to do something, you want to draw a character in an environment, you want it to work, to look realistic, and for that you need to understand how perspective and anatomy works. And once you keep perfecting that, and I think it comes naturally, you know, things will pop, you will understand. But there is another side to that, which will be composition. I mean, if we are speaking about elements, in a picture, in an illustration, the way to highlight or put elements in as protagonists or whatever, that's more into composition. How you're gonna construct your shot, or let's call it shot, or let's call it whatever you're drawing. If you want something to really pop, you need to be aware of that and use the space to your advantage, in the sense that if you want that particular character who maybe is the protagonist of your illustration, you want him is the hero, whatever, you want people to see him first, then you need to place him in a composition that favors that. A classical example will be the pyramid. When you have a triangle and your hero is up, and the rest of the stuff is the base of the pyramid or the triangle. It's a classic composition that favors whatever's on top of the triangle. I don't know if that's what the question was asking for, but here you go.
It sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Next question is, it says, what was your first inspirations to seek as an artist career?
One of the things I remember is I used to read a lot of comics from Manara, and he's known for his erotic stuff. I guess everybody knows Manara, Milo Manara. And I remember one of the first things that got like a kick of me was seeing how he drew the female body. And I thought, I want to draw girls like this. How do I get there? And obviously, I understood that I had to go to the slow route, which is study anatomy again, and and get there. But that was one of my first, so let's call it motivation. Maybe it was 15, 16 or something. I was reading those comics. I thought, I need to get there. I need to draw bodies like this. Maybe, I don't know if I wanted to do, erotic comic or not, but I was really impressed with the way he was drawing anatomy. It was like, it could be sexy, it could be dynamic, it could be a lot of stuff. It was, when you see a master and you see what he does best, and you think, I want to get there. And one day say, okay, now I'm better than you. That's just not gonna happen. It really, really got me like, I need to get there. I need to learn. I need to go through all the boring parts because I will get there eventually. So.
Awesome. Next question says, how do I block out values in grayscale?
Oh my God. You're really asking me that? No, sorry. I'm the oddball. I mean, I say that because I never, ever use gray. And I know that's not what usually tutorials advise to do. So it might be a bit confusing to ask me, because my approach to drawing is line, and I create the volumes with line and perspective. And then when I get to color, I go straight to color. So I don't block. I mean, the way I use color is not lighting based, it's just color. So I use temperature, I use saturation, and I create my compositions like that. So I don't really use gray. So maybe that's something that Mesiek can answer better. I don't know.
There is no rule really. You don't have to start with grayscale or anything like that. It's just a matter of how you're approaching work. Some people like to do grayscale and then apply color on top of that. Others like to do color. There's just so many different styles and so many different ways to paint and draw. There's no one rule. It has to be done that way. So
yeah, maybe one thing to add is that you need to understand why people who paint digital and use grayscale as a base, why do they do that? Simply because that's, you can see better the values of the form in gray. Colors are tricky. They influence each other and they mess with your eyes. So your perception, at least. So the way to block with gray, maybe it's related to understanding form, probably.
right.
But yeah, there's no, you can do without gray too, if you want, I guess. Maybe I will. Okay.
This
All
next
good,
one
all
says,
good.
what's the point of studies if you're going to forget them? I study the basics. I'm an aspiring concept artist / illustrator.
I don't know how the brain works, actually. I don't know if mine works at all, but I'm pretty sure you don't forget studies because you may not remember one particular, like you draw um, a pose one day, like a girl or a guy, on a particular pose. You're gonna forget the day after probably, but what you're doing there is trying to figure out how the human body is, you know? You're gaining knowledge in the same way that if you're reading a book, you may not remember all the words, like from a novel, for example, but you will remember the story. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but I think that's how it works with studies. You don't need to remember that specific drawing, but you are gaining knowledge that will come back to you when you are trying to build like a body from your imagination. So that's the point of studies, to understand things.
Yeah, it's like
right?
with driving, right? when you pass your driving test, and you might not drive for like in forever, and then you sit behind the wheel. You know it's gonna take you maybe a few hours to get used to it, but you know you'll still remember how to drive. You still remember how to change gears and stuff like that. It's not like something that you forget. I remember I moved back to Europe back in 2012 for about a year, and I used to drive in US. I always drive automatic, you know, and in Europe I would drive stick. And when I came back, I got a car with a stick, and I was just like, am I gonna be able to use clutch after like these many years? And granted, like first couple of minutes was confusing as fuck, but I was driving. I didn't forget much. So yeah, I mean, when you do studies, it's not like you're gonna forget. It's you're creating synapses in your brain. You're creating connections that basically tell you, okay, this is how you do stuff. So when you're learning new things, you remember all of those things. And you know, as the time goes, obviously those connections deteriorate and you tend to forget. But when you refresh, it's almost like a refresh button where it sort of like brings you back to where you were, at least close to it. Maybe not necessarily 100% same quality, but you're still gonna be somewhat good, you know.
Yeah, I mean the question is fair, like because when you are doing anatomy studies, for example, sometimes it may seem like it's futile, you know, like, but I'm doing this because you're not gonna see, like you may do 20 anatomy sketches, like 5 minutes each one of them, and and then you say, okay, now I'm gonna draw, and you maybe don't draw better. I mean, it's a slow building, so it is a good question in a way because it's a bit, you know, it's hard to see the progress in a small amount of time. But when you're doing that over months, you definitely see how it helps.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's a matter of practice. So.
So this next one says, how did you develop your visual library? How would you say you went about that?
Oh yeah, that's important, very important part of my work, or of my how to call that, my work methods or whatever. Now is that I do research a lot. Like if I want to draw buildings, like let's say from a specific city, I'm gonna research a lot of buildings, photos or whatever, and I I do have a lot of reference for stuff. Like I want to draw, um, let's say, a televisor or whatever, or old tech VCRs. Right? I have pictures to see exactly how they work, not just from memory. To remember the specific details, like different models have different buttons, and I'm seeing now that over time, that research work that goes apply to my illustrations. Sometimes now I draw stuff and I see a lot of shapes in my mind already, like, especially for what I've been doing the last 2 years, which is a lot of urban stuff, like pipes, cables, walls, windows. I have a lot of reference for that, but I now have also a lot of those saved onto my mind, sort of. I think I could draw any illustration of a city just from memory now, like, and have very different elements in there, not just a copy paste. I could have very different kinds of buildings and stuff. I think that comes from doing the research. Have the curiosity. Like I always say that if you're going to draw, let's say, a mobile phone, you can draw it from your imagination. Well, different people have different retentive. Also, I'm pretty terrible at remembering the details of stuff. But you say, I'm gonna draw a mobile phone, and you draw it. It's probably okay, sure, looks like. But if you do research, you see there are difference between different models, like, different buttons, different sizes, different screens. Well, they all look the same right now, so it's a terrible example, but you get where I go. If you draw it from your imagination, it's going to be sort of the ideal of that. And if you do research, you're going to reach that ideal with new details. And especially if you have to draw, for example, 10 cars, you maybe can draw 2 or 3 from memory. But if you really want to make them different, you have to do that research. That's my approach to that.
Cool.
Long silence.
No, dude. I'm just soaking it in. John, we have more questions, or?
John is dead.
Yeah, John just died.
So sorry, I muted myself. I was like, I was talking to. Hey, yeah, we still have a lot of questions. So if you guys want to keep going, we could keep going.
Let's maybe get 2 more and then jump into the current events and.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't want to hold up. I don't want to hold up Hosan for too long.
Cool.
Sure.
This next one says, how did you plan the composition with that perfect perspective that you're working on there?
Oh my God, thank you. Perfect. I'm not sure. Perfect sounds like a very big word. But what I do is I never have, or sometimes I have, but I usually don't have a very clear idea of what I want to do. I mean, maybe I do have a clear idea, like what I want to represent in a particular image, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it, like specific. So it comes from trying sometimes different stuff, see what sticks. The way I draw, for example, I use the eraser a lot, which any arts teacher is gonna tell you the eraser is bad. Don't use it.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Well, there's also a reason for that. It helps you grow confident. your lines. If you use the eraser, it's like escape. But at this point, I think I have my lines more or less under control. So it's sort of imprinted in my way of drawing the eraser. I like to erase a lot until I find exactly what I want. Sometimes it's better to start over. Sometimes I do, but I usually start laying down, lines. In this illustration, for example, it was easier because I didn't know I wanted to do an isometric perspective. So a part of the drawing was already sort of solved. Like it's going to be like a grid, for the perspective. But I started laying down like this room, you don't see it with the hacker, and started building like maybe I can put some woman in here who is looking at what's going on, some big guy. I work a lot by adding stuff. Maybe the struggle is at the very early stage of drawing where I have to put the main narrative. What's going on? This. Once I figure that out, I build on top of that. It's pretty much the process. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder when I don't really have super clear what I want to tell. That happens sometimes too. I'm not sure what I want to tell here because sometimes it's like, I think Cyber Samurai is really cool. I want to do an illustration that has one, but I don't have any story around it. So, when you feel like you want to draw something because you think it's cool or you may enjoy it or you never drawn one before, then you have to build a story around that. That's
right.
maybe difficult. When I have the story clear in my mind, then it's a bit easier, let's say.
Cool. So the last one, dude. Let's get that last question in.
Yeah, the last question says, how do you choose your colors? And they work really well, pretty much, and go together very well. And it says they're very pleasing to the eyes. How do you choose them, basically?
That's a good question because I still don't have the answer. But yeah. If I was doing a coloring demo today, that could be something I could explain. What? Color. I feel color is like that guy in the family that is just there, and nobody really loves him, but he's there. And he's from the family, so he has to come, to the meetings. Well, I see a lot of people that like to draw, like to compose, like to do volume lining, but usually color feels like a burden to them. Like, oh my God, I guess I have to color this just so it doesn't look too depressing. And that's the problem there. I mean, the way I choose my colors is I really like them, in a way that over time I've been reading, watching movies, and when I see, for example, a movie and I see photography that I really like, I'm thinking, oh my God, I have these colors. I want to put them in an illustration. Not those colors, but that idea, the strong yellows or cool oranges. And I start working my palettes from there. I would like to use some colors. Like I would like to use green to make it cool or depressing or oppressive, or depending on the mood of the illustration. I want to convey some specific feeling with maybe today's greens and purples, and how can I do that? And it becomes also engineering, like the same way that I do with drawings. So I go building, and it's another thing to develop over time. Like you have to develop that sensibility to know or start realizing that maybe that green needs to be, you need to change the temperature of this color. You need to make this one a little more purple, a little more, until you find that synergy. This is what I pursue in my illustrations. When you see the illustration, it has that harmony or lack of harmony depending on what's the story, but it works. It makes sense, even though it's sort of abstract, because I use the colors not to convey line, but to convey whatever is going on. So.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Cool. Dude, we're going to stop some questions here. Let's get some current events.
Yeah.
What is that?
We just talk news.
We just talk about no news. If you guys have anything to bring
cool
up,
shit.
feel free to. Yeah, the first thing I thought, well, have you guys seen Suicide Squad yet? You guys going to watch that?
I saw it last Sunday. Yeah.
Oh yeah? Did you like it? Go ahead, tell us your thoughts on that bad boy. But the reviews were pretty bad, apparently.
I actually I like movies a lot. I try to watch a lot of movies, but I remember I used to watch more author films, like whatever. But nowadays, I really like bad movies and slog. And Suicide Squad, I kind of love it in a sloggy way.
Cool.
Really
that explains. So basically, what you're saying, it sucked major dick, and that's why you liked it.
Yeah,
because it was pretty schlocky.
It didn't go. I mean, one of my favorite superhero movies of this year. Whatever, there's a lot of superhero movies every year now, but I really love X-Men Apocalypse because it was pretty terrible.
Which one?
X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh.
Yeah.
that was pretty bad, but I really love it. Like, this is so slog. I love this.
Isn't that the movies? Isn't that the movies are so bad these days, or a lot of them are so bad these days that they are so bad that they're good?
Yeah.
You know, you're just watching, laughing, and like you almost want to walk out from the theater, but it's just like, but it's so bad. I kind of want to watch if they can top themselves. You know.
Yeah. Sort of. It was a bit frustrating with Suicide Squad because it really didn't go all the way to the bad.
They made a shitload of money on the first week, though, so that was great.
Sure.
They succeeded. Marketing team.
So that means that, you know what it means for a studio? Oh yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna make 10 more of those.
Right.
Be prepared. 2016, 2017, and 2018 is gonna be all remakes and superhero movies. I'm actually not joking.
We will be like totally senile, like all this fat. That we will be chatting and say, "Have you seen Suicide Squad 25? It's pretty good." You know?
Hey, I watched this YouTube channel called Half in the Bag, and those guys are hilarious. And they've been, because I'm not gonna go see Suicide Squad. I mean, come on, dude.
No.
But they did a review. It was an interesting thing they said. I sort of agree, and even though I haven't seen it, I could totally see it play out that way. Is that, a studio will hire a director with a vision, and then they will see that there's another film that came out, which is way different than the one they are making, and they go panic mode and fucking completely redo the shit out of it. That's what they did with Fantastic Four. And I hear that's what they were doing with this film, because Deadpool was funny and dark, so let's try to make Suicide Squad the same way, funny and dark, and put like all the fucking possible pop music hits on top of it.
Yeah.
So
first of all, I'm a really big fan of Red Letter Media, the Half in the Bag guys.
Oh yeah, they're hilarious as fuck, dude.
Yeah, I should go to Milwaukee just to creep on them.
No, they're really creative and funny and dark. Sometimes they're dark as fuck, dude. They did this review of Avatar. I think it's called Plinkett Review of Avatar. And it has like this fucking basement kidnap people. It's just like dark as fuck, but it's funny as fuck too. Those guys are great.
and they really know about cinema. I don't always agree with them, which is something
yeah.
I actually like because
It's opinions, right? I mean, you don't have to agree,
exactly,
but they are doing it in a very funny way. So
yeah. But yeah, I forgot. I was going to say something, but I forgot.
oh, good.
Yeah, we'll come back.
What else you have there?
So there's a really cool. It's pretty much VR, going back to technology, and I'll post it in the chat. But it's basically painting in VR space with your friends, right?
Oh.
So it's kind of like the tilt brush, but this is.
It looks like tilt brush.
Yeah, it looks exactly like it. I'm curious if it is involved with it, but
Yeah,
what do you
it
guys
looks
think
exactly
about
like
this? I
tilt
think it's
brush.
really cool just being able to
I
paint
don't know.
in VR space.
Yeah, why not?
Is that the one that they paint some mountains?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks pretty cool, actually. I'm not sure if it's a tech demo or something that actually works, but it looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a tilt brush with just more than one person painting it. So, hey, I've read. I don't remember who was posting about that. Someone's doing like a beta testing of VR sculpting. So that's gonna be curious. I'm curious about that. I want to find out who that was. I read it on Facebook. Someone was posting about it. He got like HTC Vive, and he's gonna be testing. I don't remember who that was, but
it's gonna be cool.
Either way, yeah. I mean, VR is basically, it's definitely moving in an interesting direction. So I'm pretty excited about where it's going. It's definitely going to be more and more robust, and the biggest concern right now is you have a cable sticking out of your head, back of your head, and you can easily get tangled with it. Once they go like wireless and make the headsets to be way smaller, that's when it's gonna take off. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Although the AR is, doing pretty big strides too. So, and that's like a different technology. What's up?
Speaking about Pokemon.
No. Like augmented reality. Like what was that Microsoft was doing or something?
It's supposed to be the thing that's gonna kick augmented reality into mainstream, wherever.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Oh yeah,
so more people will be falling off the cliffs, fucking chasing virtual toys. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, what was that? I can't remember the name of that technology, but it's basically it's projecting images towards your retina. So you don't wear any headset or whatsoever. You're basically seeing. You're not wearing any gear and you see shit that is not out there. So that's kind of like freaky.
Is that a real technology?
Yeah, it already works apparently.
Have you guys seen the Black Mirror episode on Netflix? You guys watch that at all?
Is there a new one? If there's a new one, don't spoil it.
No, it's not new. It's old, but it's basically with the retina thing. You could just watch, like your history.
The history
like all the
review.
stuff that was reported.
Oh, I don't remember the name of that episode.
That was a really trippy one.
Wow. I haven't seen the first season.
You haven't seen it?
No, I still need to.
It's called The Entire History of You. Yeah, that's one of the best episodes they've ever done. Black Mirror is, by the way, fucking the shit. Like everyone should watch it.
Yeah, I love
that one and the White Rabbit. Those two episodes are the shit. And the Christmas, the White Christmas is, yeah.
Have you seen the
pretty trippy
Stranger Things? Do you like it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
It's pretty good.
I'm gonna watch the last episode on Friday. I'm excited.
Damn, Daniel, you haven't watched it yet?
No, I'm pacing myself.
All right.
My girlfriend.
I binged watched everything in one night.
Yeah, everybody did. Now I still have something to watch though, so cool.
All good.
Yeah, that's pretty much it right now. I have another one that's basically it's really cool. It's a robot that can walk in all terrain, and it's developed by those guys that make those robots.
The Boston Dynamics.
Oh yeah.
Dynamics, yeah.
Yeah. I got a good one. In Nevada, they've opened the world's largest solar plant. And I'm gonna pull it up the screen so you can see it. It looks pretty dope.
Wow.
Is this the one that you pass by before entering
I don't
state
know.
line?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Look how big it is.
I can't
Boom.
see your screen.
Well, you're gonna see it on the. You're gonna see it on the yeah.
Yeah, that's old. That's old news, bro.
That's old news. All right, fuck me then.
But I mean,
You live in the past.
yeah, it's amazing, man. Just driving out there and you see this bright
Yeah, it was
light
posted
shining towards
2014.
you.
Yeah, fuck me.
Yeah, I used to drive into Las Vegas though. I was just
Those
like,
people
what
on
the
Facebook
fuck?
are confusing me. I found it on Facebook. It must be true. It must be new. No, it's my imagination.
Yeah, it's amazing. I saw it when it was being built, and I was just like, what are they building? This is
Yeah.
government conspiracy.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, this light started shining. I was just like, what the hell? That's cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Dude.
You thought it was going to be the next Area 51.
No,
And then they said, no,
exactly.
it's just solar panels.
Hey, but you know what? I'm a prime example of that. People don't read anything more than the headlines. Because if I would just look at the date, I'll be like, nope. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Anyways, dude, thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us today. You know, it's been a blast. Dude, I love your work. Everyone love your work, dude. I mean, Kickstarter kind of shows it. So it was really nice talking with you and seeing how you draw and, you know, just kind of making it a little different for everyone else, not just digital art all over the place. So.
But was it possible to see the inking?
Oh
actually?
yeah, it's
Because,
nice and clear. I mean, it's not fucking 4K, but I mean, come on, guys, take it easy.
Okay, great. Well, thanks a lot for inviting me. This is
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
yeah, dude.
Thank you.
If you want to be a guest anytime soon, you're always welcome. I'm always welcoming people that already been here with the Art Cafe before. This is like a very mellow format, so, you know, everyone's always free to join, and it's all about discussions, conversations, fun, and just drawing cool shit. So awesome. All right, dude. Thanks for being here. Thanks for everyone else who joined us live. And if you like what you're seeing, subscribe to this fucking channel. If you don't, then fucking close it. I don't care.
Your complaints to Masiek to
yeah, if you think it sucked, then yeah, send a direct message, dude. That channel fucking blows. You should die. No, but seriously, if you want to support it, then just subscribe. You know. And we're gonna have a next guest a little later today. It's gonna be Andre Wallen. So it's 2 art cafes in 1 week. How about that?
That's great.
Anyways, thanks guys, and I'll see you soon.
Peace
Thank
out.
you. Thanks a lot.